The wind howled through the streets of London, carrying with it the kind of chill that seeped into your bones. Outside the gates of Buckingham Palace, a lone figure stood rigid, his red ceremonial uniform a stark contrast to the gray, overcast sky. His name was Daniel Carter, a royal guard who had dedicated his life to service, discipline, and duty. But tonight, his focus was fractured. For hours he had noticed her, a woman huddled against the iron gates, her frail frame shivering under layers of tattered clothing. She was just another face in the sea of London's homeless, or so he tried to convince himself. Yet, something about her tugged at him, a strange familiarity he couldn't shake. Daniel had been a royal guard for 5 years, a position he had earned through years of rigorous training and unwavering dedication. Standing at attention outside the palace was more than a job. It was an honor, a symbol of his commitment to the crown and his country. But tonight, the weight of his ceremonial uniform felt heavier than usual, the cold air biting at his exposed skin. When his shift ended, Daniel approached her, his boots clicking against the cobblestones. "Ma'am," he said gently, "are you all right?" She looked up, her eyes wide and glassy, like someone lost in a fog. "I'm waiting," she murmured, her voice trembling. "My boy, he'll come. He always comes when it's cold." Daniel's heart clenched. Without thinking, he removed his ceremonial jacket and draped it over her shoulders. "Here," he said, his voice soft. "This will keep you warm." She touched the fabric, her fingers tracing the gold buttons with a reverence that made Daniel's chest tighten. "Such a kind young man," she whispered. "Just like my Daniel. He was always sharing his things." Daniel froze. His name. She had said his name. What happened to him?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Her face crumpled and she looked away. "I don't remember. There was a house, with yellow curtains, and a garden. We grew roses. But then, the fog came. So much fog. And when it cleared, he was gone. Or maybe I was gone. I can't remember." Daniel's breath hitched. His childhood home had yellow curtains. His mother had loved roses, but his mother had disappeared when he was just a boy. His father had told him she left, that she didn't want them anymore. "Ma'am," Daniel started, but the sharp call of his commanding officer interrupted him. "I have to go," he said quickly. "But please, keep the jacket. I'll check on you later." As he walked away, his mind raced. It couldn't be her. It couldn't. But the way she said his name, the way she described their home, it was too much to be a coincidence. The next day, Daniel returned. She was still there, wrapped in his jacket, humming a tune that sent a shiver down his spine. It was a lullaby, one he hadn't heard in over a decade, his mother's lullaby. "Sleep tight, my little knight," she sang softly, her voice cracking. "Dreams of courage will take flight." Daniel knelt beside her, his hands trembling. "Mom," he whispered. She looked at him, her eyes filling with tears. "Daniel, my Daniel." Tears streamed down his face as he pulled her into his arms. "I'm here, Mom. I'm here." Over the next few days, Daniel pieced together the truth. His mother hadn't abandoned them. She had been suffering from early onset dementia, a cruel disease that had stolen her memories and left her wandering the streets. She had been searching for him all these years, clinging to fragments of her past, fighting against the fog in her mind. Daniel took a leave of absence from his duties, dedicating himself to her care. Together, they began to rebuild their lives, one memory at a time. The Royal Guard's duty. Daniel had always taken pride in his role as a royal guard. The crisp red uniform, the polished boots, the unwavering posture. It was more than a job. It was a calling. He had trained for years to earn his place among the elite guards who protected the monarchy, and he had never once faltered in his duties. But now, as he sat beside his mother in a small hospital room, he realized that his duty extended far beyond the palace gates. His mother, frail and confused, needed him in a way that no monarch ever could. "Daniel," she said softly, her voice trembling. "I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to leave you." Tears filled Daniel's eyes as he took her hand. "You didn't leave me, Mom. You were lost. But I found you, and I'm not going to let you go again." The doctors explained that her condition was advanced, but there was hope. With proper care and treatment, she could regain some of her memories and live a more stable life. Daniel vowed to do whatever it took to help her, even if it meant stepping away from his duties as a royal guard. A new mission. Daniel's commanding officer, Colonel Harris, was a stern man with little patience for sentimentality. But when Daniel explained the situation, even the hardened colonel's expression softened. "Family comes first, Carter," Harris said gruffly. "Take the time you need. Your position will be waiting for you when you're ready to return." Grateful for the colonel's understanding, Daniel focused all his energy on his mother. He moved her into a small apartment near the hospital, where she could receive regular care and therapy. He spent hours talking to her, showing her old photographs, and playing the lullaby she used to sing to him. Slowly, fragments of her memory began to return. She remembered the yellow curtains, the rose garden, and the lullaby. She even remembered Daniel's father, a kind man who had never stopped searching for her. "Your father," she said one day, her voice stronger than it had been in weeks. Is he still here?" Daniel hesitated. His father had passed away a few years ago, but he didn't want to upset her. "He's gone, Mom," he said gently. "But he never stopped looking for you. He loved you until the very end." Tears filled her eyes, but she smiled. "He was a good man. And you're just like him." A bond reforged. As the weeks turned into months, Daniel and his mother grew closer. She still had moments of confusion, but they were fewer and farther between. The fog in her mind was lifting, thanks to the love and care of her son. Daniel, too, found a new sense of purpose. Being a royal guard had always been his dream, but now he realized that his true calling was to protect and care for those he loved. His mother had spent years searching for him, and now it was his turn to stand guard over her. One evening, as they sat together in the apartment, his mother turned to him with a smile. "Daniel," she said, her voice clear and strong, "I'm so proud of you. You've become everything I always knew you would be." Tears filled Daniel's eyes as he pulled her into a hug. "I love you, Mom, and I'm never letting you go again."